Rock Nation Sport is calling for changes in South Africa's sports industry. The president of Jay-Z's company, Michael Yormack, says the change must be drastic.
Visual album Black is King is probably the most trending topic around the world this week. The album, which is a celebration of the African culture.
This as international beauty brand Fenty Beauty and Fenty Skin was launched in Johannesburg. The brand, owned by singer Rihanna, is viewed as an overall game changer for the global beauty and skin industry.
What if I told you that Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Rihanna are sitting on the easiest billion-dollar expansion play on Earth? And it's not in New York, Paris, or Dubai. It's Africa. Yes, the same Africa the media undersells, the same Africa billionaires quietly invest in, and the same Africa where the middle class is growing faster than Beyoncé can drop a surprise album. Here's the plot twist. Africa isn't emerging, it's erupting. We're talking 1.4 billion people, a $2.6 trillion economy, and over 720 million young consumers who treat music, beauty, fashion, sports, and tech like oxygen. And while global megastars spend millions expanding into Europe or Asia, Africa is the only region where their cultural influence converts into business power instantly. This is the one place where a celebrity doesn't just launch a product, they launch an entire industry. Rihanna already saw the writing on the wall when she pushed Fenty into African markets. Rock Nation has quietly expanded into African sports. Idris Elba is building film studios. Other celebrities are obtaining dual citizenship like it's the new VIP pass. So today, we're breaking down the 10 insane, realistic, and wildly profitable ways Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Rihanna could build full-blown billion-dollar empires in Africa. Not in 20 years, not in 10 years, but in 5. And trust me, by the time we get to number 10, you're going to wonder why Hollywood hasn't moved its headquarters to Lagos. Rihanna isn't just a singer. She's a beauty superpower disguised as a billionaire in casual pajamas. And Africa? Africa is the one place where her brand wouldn't just sell, it would detonate. Start with the obvious. Africa's beauty industry is worth over $1.5 billion, and Nigeria alone eats a massive slice of that like it's suya on a Friday night. Millions of women across the continent already spend heavily on cosmetics, skincare, fragrances, and hair care. The demand is sky high. The supply, shockingly mediocre. Most global beauty giants still don't understand African undertones, humidity, sun exposure, or hair textures. They show up with 3 shades of dark and expect applause. Rihanna shows up with 40+ shades that actually match people. That's not a product. That's a cultural apology wrapped in a business strategy. Now picture Fenty Africa, not as an imported brand, but as a localized powerhouse. Foundations engineered for Lagos heat. Skincare built for Johannesburg winters. Hair care designed for every curl pattern from Accra to Addis Ababa. That's when Fenty stops being a brand and becomes a necessity. And the distribution pipeline is already paved. South Africa has some of the best retail networks on the continent. Kenya and Ghana's e-commerce growth is exploding. Nigeria's demand alone could wipe out inventory before lunchtime. If Rihanna partnered with African manufacturers, built local supply chains, and priced products competitively, she could dominate the entire continent faster than most brands can launch a marketing campaign. But while Rihanna is conquering beauty aisles and owning bathroom shelves, another billionaire is staring at a much bigger opportunity: entire industries. Because if Africa is on track to become the world's new entertainment capital, Jay-Z is the one man built to own the throne. Jay-Z has turned everything he touched, music, liquor, sports, luxury, into money. But Africa is the first place where all those lanes converge into one giant superhighway. The numbers already tell the story. Africa's entertainment sector is projected to hit $104 billion by 2030. That's more than enough fuel to supercharge a full-scale Rock Nation Africa empire. Imagine Jay-Z dropping anchor in Lagos, Johannesburg, Accra, and Nairobi, turning them into global creative hubs. Africa is producing the world's hottest sounds right now. Afrobeats, Amapiano, Bongo, East African pop. The talent is overflowing, the infrastructure is lagging, and Jay-Z is the guy who builds empires from scratch. He could launch talent academies, artist development camps, and festival networks so massive that a Ghana edition of Made in America would sell out for years. And that's just music. African sports are the goldmine nobody has fully tapped yet. Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, South Africa. These countries produce superstar athletes who rarely get global representation, simply because the right systems aren't in place. Jay-Z could build scouting camps, training academies, and representation pipelines that finally connect African athletes to the NBA, European football leagues, and global sponsorship deals. Then you have film. South Africa already has Hollywood-level studios, Ghana has a booming diaspora audience, and Nigeria has the storytelling engine known as Nollywood, which produces thousands of films a year. Jay-Z could merge these forces into a pan-African content machine with real global reach. A network that feeds Netflix, Amazon, Apple TV, Showmax, and every major streaming service hungry for African stories. And let's not pretend he wouldn't touch real estate. Cities like Accra, Kigali, Nairobi, and Marrakech are exploding with luxury developments. Jay-Z has always known how to turn neighborhoods into cultural landmarks. If he built Rock Nation residential districts, creative cities with studios, sports complexes, nightlife zones, and upscale housing, diaspora buyers would line up faster than his ticket pre-sales. He could even launch a premium African spirit brand using local sugarcane, palm distillations, and tropical botanicals, a liquor line rooted in African heritage but bottled with Rock Nation luxury? That's collector-level territory. Jay-Z wouldn't just be expanding a business, he'd be building a cultural dynasty, a machine that shapes music, sports, luxury, and entertainment across 54 countries. And while Jay-Z is designing infrastructure and Rihanna is dominating beauty counters, Beyoncé's lane is different. Bigger, quieter, and far more generational. Her empire doesn't grow by selling products. It grows by shaping the culture itself. Beyoncé's connection to Africa has never been a gimmick. It's been a creative backbone. From Lion King: The Gift to her imagery, fashion choices, collaborators, and philanthropic work, Africa has shaped her art more than most people realize. But here's the twist. While Beyoncé has used Africa as creative inspiration, Africa is the one place where she could turn that inspiration into a generational empire. Start with education. Not the boring kind, the Beyoncé kind. Imagine a world-class creative arts academy in Ghana, the spiritual headquarters of the global diaspora. A campus where young Africans train in dance, drama, film scoring, choreography, vocal performance, fashion design, digital media, production, and entrepreneurship. Not a regular school, a cultural factory. A place where the next generation of African megastars gets crafted with the same precision that goes into a Beyoncé tour. Ghana is already buzzing every December with hundreds of thousands of diaspora visitors, creatives, artists, and culture lovers. An academy there wouldn't just thrive, it would become a pilgrimage site. And if Beyoncé personally curates the curriculum, hires global instructors, builds studios, and hosts annual showcases, she'd own Africa's talent pipeline before anyone else even realizes it exists. Then there's South Africa, the continent's entertainment infrastructure capital. Cape Town has studios that rival Los Angeles. Johannesburg hosts some of the biggest festivals and productions on the continent. Beyoncé could easily create an annual Black Renaissance Festival, a massive celebration of African creativity, diaspora unity, music, fashion, storytelling, and visual art. Think of Coachella's scale, Burning Man's creativity, and Afrocella's soul, all fused into one mega event with Beyoncé at the center. This wouldn't just be a festival, it would be an economy. Hotels booked out for months, flights sold out, local designers showcased on global stages, African performers gaining international exposure, luxury brands fighting to sponsor. Beyoncé would essentially create her own creative tourism industry. And then there's fashion, a category she's already mastered. Ivy Park Africa would be unstoppable. Africa's textile heritage is world-class. Kente, Kitenge, Ankara, Bogolan, Shweshwe. The craftsmanship, elite. Tie Beyoncé's global brand power to African artisanship, and you get a fashion line that is culturally authentic, globally desirable, and socially powerful. Instead of inspired by Africa, Ivy Park Africa would be made with Africa. This is the kind of brand the world hasn't seen yet, one that combines high fashion, cultural history, and sustainable African production. And given how fiercely proud African consumers are about local fashion, Beyoncé wouldn't just be selling clothes, she'd be shaping a continental identity. Now here's where things get wild. If Rihanna dominates beauty and Beyoncé dominates culture, Jay-Z builds infrastructure, and the three of them start overlapping their influence across music, film, fashion, tourism, and social impact. They're not just building empires, they're building an entire ecosystem. And just when you think those three alone could reshape Africa's creative landscape, you remember that another mogul is lurking. One whose entrepreneurial energy is built for Africa's rapidly growing lifestyle markets. Rick Ross steps onto the stage next, and Africa is exactly the kind of playground he thrives in. Rick Ross has boss energy built into his DNA, and Africa is the only place where that energy can multiply into three full industries at once: food, real estate, and fitness. Africa's fast food market is projected to hit $34 billion, and with cities like Lagos, Nairobi, and Johannesburg growing at lightning speed, Ross could launch a grilled chicken franchise using African spices, local supply chains, and his signature swagger. A concept that would scale faster in Africa than in the US real estate, even bigger. Accra is becoming the relocation capital of the diaspora. Kigali is one of the cleanest and fastest-growing cities in Africa, and Nairobi's luxury districts are filling up with young professionals. Ross could easily stamp his name on premium estates, lifestyle villas, and branded residential projects tailored to Africa's rising middle class. And then there's fitness. Africa's wellness market is exploding, with gyms popping up across Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, and Nigeria. A Rick Ross-style fitness chain, affordable, stylish, aspirational, would dominate instantly. Add merch, supplements, and a fitness app. That's a full-blown continent-wide brand. Now shift to 50 Cent, the king of gritty storytelling. Africa produces 7,000-plus films a year, but there's still a gap for high-budget crime universes and cinematic series. 50 could build G-Unit Africa studios in Lagos and Johannesburg, tapping into real African stories, political dynasties, tech fraud legends, street empires, and flipping them into global hits. Combine that with African-based liquor manufacturing in East Africa, where production is cheaper and faster, and 50 Cent walks into his next billion. Snoop Dogg's opportunity is different, but just as massive. Lesotho has become Africa's cannabis capital, exporting premium medical marijuana to Europe and Canada. Snoop could build a celebrity-backed cannabis empire right there. And Africa's animation industry, perfect for Snoop's humor and creativity. A hip-hop animated series set in Lagos or Johannesburg would go viral instantly. Dr. Dre, meanwhile, brings the tech. Africa's music streaming industry will surpass $1.5 billion soon, but the continent still lacks advanced studio systems, production schools, and professional-grade gear. Dre could launch Beats Africa, manufacture audio tech in Kenya or Egypt and build a production academy in Lagos that turns thousands of young producers into global hitmakers. And then there's Steve Harvey, a natural fit for Africa's booming TV and leadership culture. Ghana loves him, South Africa respects him, and Rwanda practically rolled out the red carpet. Steve could create a comedy and TV production hub in Ghana, film polish shows in South Africa, and build a leadership academy in Kigali that brings together Africans and the diaspora to learn wealth building, communication, entrepreneurship, and personal development. But everything comes full circle when you return to the trio Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Rihanna. One builds infrastructure, one shapes culture, one dominates beauty. And together, they don't just create brands, they create an ecosystem. A pan-African creative economy powered by music, fashion, film, beauty, tech, tourism, and education. Africa isn't the future, it's already happening. And the biggest global icons have a chance to be part of the most profitable cultural renaissance of our generation. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Africa's next billionaire empires, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to see where the world is really heading. Because the next global empire might not come from Hollywood. It might come from Lagos, Accra, or Nairobi, and you won't want to say you missed it.